Are we on? Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
All right. John's scared of this one. Don't worry, okay? He's just my meat puppet, and he just does whatever I want him to do.
I'm just a producer, so I just find whatever and then have my own.
He's just my slave. He doesn't think he doesn't think he just feels threatened by me that if he doesn't do what I say, that I'm gonna be mean to him in jujitsu.
Yes.
So these thoughts are not his; they're only mine. Do what I say, slave.
Oh my god! Wait, we gotta censor that.
Why? That's funny.
You said doulos.
Doulos?
Doulos. You and my doulos. Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna read from scripture a little bit. Why are you laughing, bro? Why are you mocking me?
I'm not. It's funny.
Okay, so
Alright.
another reason why we're doing these videos, it's for fun. You know, honestly, I get a lot of fun out of it. Okay, I should reframe that. You know, I'm having a lot of fun because I listen back to this and I sound so stupid. I can't articulate well because it's so late, and
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun though. But it's like dark humor.
Mm.
I take these subjects very seriously, but I gotta make fun of it just so that we can get through these things.
This is so sad.
Yeah, it's horrible. So, all right, I'm in Revelation 14. You know, the church has three things that I feel like we need to participate in telling and not mock it, and take it seriously. One is, it says in Revelation 14, there are three angels. Then I saw another angel flying in verse 6 directly overhead with an eternal gospel to proclaim to those who dwell on earth, to every nation and tribe, language, and people. And he said with a loud voice, "Fear God and give him glory, because the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made heaven and earth, the seas, and the spring and water." This is the church's responsibility right now. At all times in history, the church needs to preach the gospel instead of navel gazing and waiting for things to go back to normal. They're never going back to normal, folks. They're going to use hold normal hostage to make us do all kinds of things. And so this is our normal. Preach the gospel. Churches, preach the gospel. Don't wait. Now's the time. It's always now time. It's always go time with that. All right. So we need to participate in that. Another angel. This is also something we must do as people of God. Is to be prophets. Another angel, a second, following, saying, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, she who made all nations drink the wine of the passion of her sexual morality." We need to expose the world for the evil that's in it, and warn the church not to be participants in it, to come out of it, and to expose darkness. That's what this show's about, John. Okay? Why are you smirking at me?
I'm not.
Dude, I'm going to slap you.
Oh my god! I'm just having a good time.
It's the Zevia. All right, third, and this is something that people are making fun of, and I take this very seriously because the Bible takes it very seriously. Another angel, third, followed them, saying with a loud voice, "If anyone worships the beast and its image," which a lot of people do. Beast is the governments of the world, and its image, and well, you know that guy, the Antichrist, and receives a mark on his forehead or on his hand, he also will drink the wine of God's wrath. I mean, whatever this is gonna have attached the wrath of God. And so I want to know what it is. I've studied a lot about it, and I've told our church, and we should be looking to see and studying to know what that is. Not be like, "Oh, that's funny, dude. It's mark of the beast, ha ha ha." And I read an article saying pastors need to stop talking about it. I'm like, screw you. Who the hell are you? You the bishop of the world? This news article? I was like, get out of my face. The Bible is my authority. And so those are three things that we need to think about. What is this mark of the beast thing? And what does it mean to worship it? Worship the beast and to receive its mark. And I think I have a pretty good prediction of what it's going to be. And it's already here, folks. And I'm not saying, and the last vaccine episode, a lot of people are saying the vaccine is a mark of the beast and things like that. I don't think so. Of course not. But I think it's social conditioning around it. It definitely smells like fascist nonsense, and so um, I have issues with it. The way that they're, people are being told like, hey, if you want to get it, please get it, and etc. I wouldn't have an issue, which is most of it right now is, but the pressure's gonna ramp up soon. And if you got the vaccine, a lot of people in our church have gotten the vaccine. I might get it if it's required to go on missions. You know, um, yeah, I'm not gonna let my kids get it until I see what happens to everybody. Um, and I think that's what most nurses and doctors are recommending. Children don't need it anyway, right? They're not spreading it. That very small percentage are not being affected by it. Why are we vaccinating the kids? Don't vaccinate the kids. Leave them alone. Stop jabbing them. They already got jabbed enough. My kids have all kinds of vaccines in their bodies. So this is another reason we're doing this show. I want to reveal Babylon and their blind drunkenness to make billions of trillions of dollars and line their pockets. And the world should know about it. And we should call it out. And the church should know about it to call it out as well, so that people in the world will seek to be free from it and know the gospel and cling to Jesus. And so that's why we're doing these videos. Another reason why I feel I want to do these videos. All right. So today we're talking about the coronavirus. Just to give personal context, my grandmother was her nursing home in Orange County had an outbreak. She got coronavirus, and then she recovered, and then afterwards, though, through I think complications from after recovery, she passed away in her sleep very peacefully. She was almost 90 years old. So it does affect my life personally. So people are like, like thinking that I'm talking out of my ass. Like, no, it affects me. My mother then got it from her, right? And then she got sick, and then my father got it from my mom. My dad almost died, and he's alive right now. Thank you, hydroxychloroquine, and the other drugs. Azithromycin. The antibiotic. I don't know what the hell these. They're so long. The names are damn long. And then zinc, folks. And he hated it. He hated the zinc. It made him feel like real constipated. But the zinc is really what accomplishes it. And his lungs were crystallized, and the percentage of like crystallization in his lungs would have been way worse. And so, thank God, and thank you, Donald Trump. Why are you nervous, bro?
I'm just chilling, dude.
Oh, dude, people piss me off. Anyway, let's talk about coronavirus first. So in that context, I'm talking about the subject in a way that hopefully it helps some of you guys to understand. And for those of you that think like, oh, I just want things to go back to the way it was before all of this, it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna go back. They're gonna ride this thing till kingdom comes. Literally, I think they're gonna ride this thing until Jesus comes back. Like some version of this. New strains are gonna come out. You're gonna be required to take vaccines. They already have vaccine passports being talked about in the European Union, and this is the new normal, and it has nothing to do with the virus. It has all to do with profit margins and political power, and it's a huge play, and so, but I believe the virus is real. But the origins of the virus, let's go over. Let's look at this. All right. So first, why are we listening to Dr. Fauci? This guy looks like the Keebler elf, and he looks all grandfatherly and stuff. But this dude hasn't been practicing medicine for like many years. He's an administrative person, And this is a criticism that a lot of epidemiologists and virologists and scientists have said about Dr. Fauci. He has a lot of money to be gained from vaccines. There's so many conflicts of interest here that he shouldn't be telling us what to do, because there's too many conflicts of interest. And here's one of them. Dr. Fauci backed controversial Wuhan lab with US dollars for risky coronavirus research. So guys, this virus started in the city of Wuhan, and at the beginning of this, the Wuhan lab theory was a conspiracy theory, but it's more plausible because the virus came from a horseshoe bat. But Wuhan is thousands of miles away, almost something like that, 1,000 miles away from any horseshoe bats. So the chances of this happening was very slim. But there was a lab, a level 4 lab in Wuhan that specifically did gain of function research on coronavirus, horseshoe bat coming from coronaviruses, studying how they could infect human beings. So it's a crazy coincidence, and I do believe in coincidences. It's very possible, John.
Yes.
Very possible that the place that a horseshoe bat virus jumps to infect human beings happens to happen in the city where this lab exists. Is very possible. And then the CCP goes in and destroys evidence. Of course, none of that, it's all coincidental.
Yeah, it's not related at all.
It's not related, unrelated, right? In a criminal case, they would dismiss this evidence as conspiracy theory. But it seems dubious. It just seems dubious, though. So let's look at this research. Who's Anthony Fauci in relation to the lab? Okay, he's an advisor. He was an advisor when President Trump was in office. Okay, he's an American folk hero for some crazy reason. Okay, so this guy, okay, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, the organization led by Dr. Fauci, funded scientists at the Wuhan Institute of Virology and other institutions for work on gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses. This is what he did. This is okay.
It's just a coincidence.
Okay, in 2019, with the backing of NIAID, the National Institute of Health committed $3.7 million over 6 years for research that included some gain-of-function work. The program followed another $3.7 million 5-year project for collecting and studying bat coronaviruses. Stop yawning in front of me! Which ended in 2019, bringing the total to $7.4 million. It makes me insecure, dude.
This is late at night.
Okay. All right. Many scientists have criticized gain-of-function research, which involved manipulating viruses in the lab to explore their potential for infecting humans. This is a Newsweek article, by the way, because it creates a risk of starting a pandemic from accidental release. Okay, I'm going to read that again. Many scientists have criticized gain-of-function research, which involves manipulating viruses in the lab to explore their potential for infecting humans because it creates a risk of starting a pandemic from accidental release. SARS-CoV-2, which is now called COVID-19, the virus now causing a global pandemic, is believed to have originated in bats. U.S. intelligence, after originally asserting that the coronavirus had occurred naturally, conceded last month that the pandemic may have originated in a leak from the Wuhan lab. They didn't provide evidence that it didn't. They just called it a corona. They couldn't find evidence, and they dismissed it as a conspiracy theory. But no, that's not how truth works. It's a potential story. It's a potential origin story of this virus, but not provable anymore because the evidence seems to have been destroyed that could lead to understanding whether or not it was involved. Of course, by the Chinese Communist Party, which seems suspicious to me, but I guess we're just a bunch of conspiracy theorists. All right. At this point, most scientists say it's possible but not likely that the pandemic virus was engineered or manipulated. Okay, we'll look further into that claim. Dr. Fauci did not respond to Newsweek's request for comment. All right, whatever. Of course he would say, yeah, we did. Okay, no. NIS research considered two parts. The first part began in 2014 and involved surveillance of bat coronavirus, had a budget of 3.7 million.
So that was
All right.
before.
Second phase, beginning that year, included additional surveillance work, but also gain of function. What is gain of function research? For the purpose of understanding how bat coronavirus could mutate to attack humans. All right, go down. We will use the S protein sequence data, infectious clone technology, in vitro and in vivo infection experiments, and analysis of receptor binding to the test the hypothesis that percentage divergence thresholds in S protein sequences predict spillover potential. Remember that. That sounds all like, I don't know what that means. There's a man later on, we're going to watch this video. He's going to explain what that is. In layman's terms, spillover potential refers to the ability of a virus to jump from animals to humans, which requires that the virus be able to attach to receptors in the cells of humans. SARS-CoV-2, for instance, is adept at binding to the ACE2 receptor in human lungs and other organs. According to Richard E. Bright, an infectious disease expert at Rutgers University, the project description refers to experiments that would enhance the ability of bat coronavirus to infect human cells in laboratory animals using techniques of genetic engineering. In the wake of the pandemic, that is a noteworthy detail. Oh, really? E. Bright, along with many other scientists, has been vocal opponent of gain-of-function research because of the risk it presents of creating a pandemic through accidental release from a lab. Thank you, scientists. But you guys are a bunch of conspiracy theorists now, too, for saying that. Dr. Fauci is renowned for his work on the HIV/AIDS crisis in the 1990s. Born in Brooklyn, he graduated first. I don't give a crap, dude. All right. A decade ago, during controversy over gain-of-function research on bird flu viruses, Dr. Fauci played an important role in promoting the work. He argued that the research was worth the risk it entailed because it enables scientists to make preparations, such as investigating possible antiviral medications that could be useful if and when a pandemic occurred. Vaccines. Ooh. I wonder if he's going to make any money from those vaccines. The work in question was a type of gain-of-function research that involved taking wild viruses, passing them through live animals until they mutate into a form that could pose a pandemic threat. Scientists used it to take a virus that was poorly transmitted among humans and make it into one that was highly transmissible. A hallmark of a pandemic virus! This work was done by infecting a series of ferrets, allowing the virus to mutate until a ferret that hadn't been deliberately infected contracted the disease. Right, that's what gain-of-function research is. All right, so keep going down. Keep going down. Okay. All right. Let me summarize all of this. The summary of this is, in this Wuhan lab, guys, they were doing gain-of-function research, not with ferrets. They're doing it with bats. And they kept infecting these bats until they could infect human beings. That's what gain-of-function research is. Huge coincidence, though. They have, so that's what they were studying. Coronavirus vaccine, bats. Virus in bats that could jump to human beings, and they kept infecting these bats and engineering a virus that could jump to humans in order to find a vaccine for it preemptively. So look at all the facts on the ground, right? So breakout in Wuhan happens to be in Wuhan, and then it happens to be a bat coronavirus with no bats around Wuhan. You have to go drive very far away. And then there's the lab specifically studies bat coronaviruses in order to infect human beings.
This is our last episode on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah, we got to put this one on another one. So to me, that's a lot of things coming to you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things. All right? Okay, around this time, I've read about this, and then our defense secretary, is that what his role was? Mike Pompeo. He came out and he said that there was enormous evidence that also the Luc Montagnier article. Can you find that? Okay, so Mike Pompeo comes out and he says enormous evidence coronavirus came from the Chinese lab. But there was a fire at the lab, and something happened where the Communist Party had to come in, and a lot of things disappeared, and people disappeared. Because the Chinese government would never do something like that, John. They would never do that, right? They're saints. Okay, so that happened. Now, at the beginning of this pandemic, okay, there was a man that I read an article by this man, Luc Montagnier. He's also studied the AIDS virus. He received the Nobel Prize, and he was gaslighted as a conspiracy theorist when he said, Luc Montagnier is a French virologist and recipient of the 2008 Nobel Prize in Medicine for his discovery of the human immunodeficiency virus HIV. In April 18th, Professor Montagnier appeared on French TV and to comment on the origin of COVID-19, echoing what several other scientists have suggested and saying that the virus has been manipulated by researchers. He also mentioned in his appearance on the program that components of HIV has been inserted into the virus sequence, perhaps in pursuit of an AIDS vaccine. When asked by one of the commentators if the coronavirus under investigation may have come from a patient who is otherwise infected with HIV, Professor Montagnier said no. In order to insert an HIV sequence into this genome, molecular tools are needed, and that can only be done in a laboratory. And what happened in Australia with that vaccine? Do you remember that vaccine thing in Australia where people were getting they were popping positive for HIV? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay,
actually.
this guy's a conspiracy theorist, John.
Yeah, he's
Nobel Peace Prize, who cares? Nobel Crap Prize.
There were so many articles. Like I remember when I was researching him, I was convinced that he was wrong.
Yeah, this dude was gaslighted.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we're gaslighting scientists. Let them talk. And there's Snopes articles, crappy Snopes. I'm gonna curse right now. Forget it. I don't want you to find bleeping things. Snopes gaslighted this guy. Dude, those Snopes and all these fact-checking articles, they're a bunch of echo chambers. We need to let all these people be public. Why are these people being censored on social media and just being destroyed? Their names being destroyed for saying anything apart from the narrative of these world health fascists.
Oh, you were talking about the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it.
Okay. Oh my God. People were getting positive HIV results. Australian COVID vaccine dropped. They stopped using this vaccine because people were getting false positive HIV results.
Oh, it was the AstraZeneca.
And then that AstraZeneca has been stopped for other reasons now, right?
Oh, wait, no. Instead of increased orders of alternatives from AstraZeneca.
So they switched to them.
Yeah, and then this one got recalled recently, too.
Yeah. Okay, so Luc Montagnier. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Frenchman, French scientist, virologist. So even he was saying this has been, played with in the laboratory. Human beings have played with this virus. He said that he immediately got thrown under the bus, bro. Your life's work doesn't matter. You're not a scientist anymore. You're a conspiracy theorist. Okay, because Snopes said so. Because Snopes has, they're scientists. All right, so the next one. All right, Joe Rogan has this guy on, Brett Weinstein, another scientist. Okay, and he's been reading the research, that's been going on. And so let's listen to this guy and some of the things that he's found out. Okay, it gets a little sciencey, but just hold on. Thank you, Mr. Brett Weinstein. Joe Rogan has good guests sometimes. Sometimes he has lunatics on there. But I like it when he has people like this. Brett Weinstein, thank you very much. You're not a racist to me. Thank you, Professor.
I liked he was talking about vitamin D because that was Dr. Rhonda Patrick's. Did you?
Yeah. Take your shirt off, walk around in the sun, walk on the beach. Okay, so, there's a couple of things that he says. Well, he also explains the gain of function part and also the part about this virus that it seems upon studying the genome, there are a group of scientists. There are scientists, credible scientists, that are saying that this virus has been toyed with and tooled to do what it does. So there are other scientists and doctors that will say that it's not. Okay? But this is science. This is why we need to have people just not be censored. But you know what? Why did this dude get a Nobel Peace Prize? Like, not this guy, but Luc Montagnier. The other thing that he talks about is lockdowns. Guys, like, the quarantining thing only works if we actually quarantined. Like, we had to stay in our houses. We can't go to the market, right? Where there's like hundreds of people at Costco and stuff. Like, it was so stupid. Like, we're like standing in lines outside of Costco. Like, that's helping. And then we go in, and then there's other people there, and then we're like, you know how crazy it was in the beginning, and then it's kind of like people forgot about that. We're in Walmart and Home Depot, and like, what are we doing? Like, we're like LARPing a epidemic or pandemic right now. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, there's so many things that rationally doesn't make sense. Like, when you go on a plane, they make you social distance as you get on the plane, but then you sit like right next to each other on the plane, and then when you get off, they say social distance, please, as you get off the plane. It's like, this is crazy. Like, we're like a bunch of like monkeys in cages. Like, just do what we say. It's like, does this have anything to do with stopping a virus? No. Just do it. It keeps you safe. It's crazy. It's insane. And I think most people know that. Some people still don't. Some people are still like, stop the spread. Like, in the first lockdown, it was slow the spread. Like, we can't stop it, but we can slow it down to stretch out the infections and death toll.
Oh, and to reduce the
hospitalizations. And then we realized that, okay, the hospitals are not flooded beyond the normative amount during these seasons, where the hospitals are flooded, ERs are flooded during the winter season. And then all of this stuff is crazy to me. Like, flu disappeared from the planet, right? And so now they're saying it's like, yeah, the flu disappeared. And we believe it. We're like, yeah, it did. From the planet. And below the equator here, like, flu is no longer a thing. It's like, do we really believe that? Like, are we that gullible? I'm just frustrated. Just frustrated. It's like, none of this makes sense. And so I like what he said about lockdowns. If we had really done a lockdown where we're locked in our houses, we scrape together whatever food we got left. We isolate the virus, quarantine those people, and do all of that. And whoever is sick inside those houses and dies, they stay there. And then the virus just dies out. Yeah, it would have worked. Yeah. But whatever the hell this crap that we've been doing the last few months, this is BS. This is BS to the highest order. Like, it's just BS. And we knew this in the first lockdown, that this isn't working. This is just to lower the hospitalization rates, but it's not to stop the spread. It's to slow it down. Let's not have the hospitals flooded. And then, Trump was like sending out those ships with all those hospital beds, and they weren't utilized.
Yeah.
To New York. And like, they were in California. Like, they were just empty. Like, nobody remembers that. Like, so we did slow it down, I guess. And then now the second lockdown was absurd because it was like, this is what we found out about the lockdowns. It doubled in the first lockdown. I think it doubled or tripled the amount of human death toll in this country from other causes, right? Surgeries in hospitals, alcoholism, suicide, abuse, like, everything went up. And now the lockdown, what it does do is triple the amount of, if we hadn't done it, now we have triple the amount of human death because of the lockdowns, not because of the virus, that eclipses the death toll from the virus. So it's like, we knew that data from the first lockdown, and then when the second lockdown, they were talking about it in California, and not everyone did it, but we knew that it didn't do anything. Like, the same amount of people are gonna die, and it wasn't gonna do anything. It was just gonna make more people suicide themselves, and like, it was just gonna create bigger problems socially. But we did it. I remember like one second that I was like, there's no way they're gonna do this again. There's no scientific backing behind this. Like there's none at this point. We knew the first lockdown was bad and we did a half-ass job. Like it wasn't necessary. And then the masks came out and all the, people making these mask videos saying that they do a lot, and it's like there's places that they never required masks and they have the same numbers. So I feel we're taking crazy pills. The vaccine is here, and hope people are hoping that that's gonna lower the numbers, and but they're not reporting the side effects. And maybe you could post an article about that lady that got paralyzed from the vaccines from H1N1, I think. I'll send you the video, but like vaccine, and it's like none of like I don't think that we should be waiting to go back to normal. I think we really need to decide within ourselves as adults, like, okay, how are we gonna face this thing? People are gonna die, and people that get vaccinated can still die. People can still spread it. I think the lockdowns also incubated the virus, right? I saw research about that, how like us being in homes like spread it more, and
He was just talking about it. It was
yeah, it's frustrating me. We need to be outside and in the sun, walking around, and I'm willing to wear the mask, even though I think it's absurd. And I've seen research going both ways. But I'm like, for the sake of whoever, like, it's peace of mind, I'll wear it. When I go to the market, I'm not gonna be one of those people that are like, take the mask off and freak all these people out, and they're like yelling at me. And like, I saw someone get arrested in like video today in Canada. They're like being arrested, and they went live on Instagram. I'm being arrested right now in my car. And he's going crazy. And Canada is a good forecast of what may possibly happen in America. Dude, things are bat crap crazy up there right now. Pun intended. So people have no idea how crazy it is in Canada right now.
You don't want to join those maskless mobs where they go into Walmarts. Have you seen those videos?
I think that's unnecessary. If I was younger, maybe.
Oh my.
Just bored, No, I don't think we should do that. But there's also shady leaders. So Fauci is not a reliable person to me. And but also the majority, if you look at the coronavirus death toll, which is hard to find now. Remember, it was like everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like everywhere you look, this many people die. If they did that with car accidents, nobody would drive. This amount of people ticking off. How many people die in car accidents every year? People would not drive anymore. And but they were doing that with coronavirus. The numbers, okay, that included heart attacks. Heart attack disappeared too, dude. Did you know that? No one got heart attacks last year.
Everybody switched to keto diet. That's why.
Yeah, nobody died of strokes. It was all because induced by coronavirus. The numbers plummeted.
Mm-hmm.
Flu, all of it. It's magical. And so that's part of the huge, they looped it all in with corona. I wish they did that with the vaccines, people dying from complications that had vaccine involved in it. They should count the numbers the same the way they did with the coronavirus. I think it would be probably,
Be fair at least.
fair. But so there's that part of the number, the coronavirus death toll. And then there's the coronavirus death toll in regards to few key cities and states with these governors. And Andrew Cuomo, sent the elderly to their deaths, and the timeline is devastating. Everyone should look at this timeline. It's pretty devastating. This guy was doing this knowingly. There's no doubt about that. He knew what was happening with the nursing homes, and he still did it. There's something that we need to ask questions about that. This man needs to be arrested. And now there's some aides, okay, that altered in the Guardian's article. Como aides altered nursing home death reports. Health department confirms it. There is something shady that happened with this governor. He should be in jail. But this story is being covered and just drowned out with all the sex scandals that are coming out about him. And that really matters too. But this should be headline news. And there's a majority of the deaths in this country came from a handful of states. I think like 5 or 6. And people should look into that. Why did that happen? And this nursing home thing happened so many in all of these states. But this is the one that they're going to, I think they're going to take to the slaughter. This man here, and I was like we're in opposite world. They're like heralding him as a hero, and I was like, why? He's like the opposite. But we're living in the twilight zone now, John.
They quickly changed up the tone.
Yeah, they're Shark Tanking him now, and I'm so happy about that. Even though, like, it's to take attention away from everybody else that might have had a hand in this. But my question is, they need to ask, why did he do this? Why did he do it? It's not just that he did it. There's evidence that he did this.
Mm-hmm.
But why? Why did you do that? Why? And I think that's what we are trying to sidestep out of with these sex scandals, like, so that we don't ask that question, and then the story goes away, and he just disappears. He's fired or whatever it is that happens to him. So there is severe corruption going on with whatever this fake response to the coronavirus has been. The virus is real, folks, but where it came from, this is a lot of coincidence for me, and also what I don't that we shouldn't be blindly trusting of these people, and that there are these people just doing nothing. There's something going on, and there's too much money to be made for us to think that this is all benign activity. The response there's so much corruption in the response to this virus, starting with China, the World Health Organization, that the whole world, World Health Organization is saying that China's doing the best response ever, so the world modeled their response after China, which is never a good idea to model anything after China. China is stealing our intellectual property because they're smart. They don't want to invent stuff. They just want to steal it. They are killing, slaughtering Christians and Muslims in re-education camps. I don't even know what else to say. And we're following them as a role model for this thing. And it's like... And then our governor in California made a was it $500 billion? Or is it $50 billion? Sorry for adding the zero. Deal with China for PPOs. It's not cool, dude. And
1 billion.
1 billion. Sorry.
Still what?
50 billion is a lot different from 1 billion. Sorry, I'm just on the whole the $2 trillion coronavirus bill. So these people are corrupt as hell, and there's the vaccines they have a perfect storm here. Don't tell me that vaccines are not profitable. It is globally profitable, and they're gonna ride this thing to kingdom come, like vaccine passport entry, stuff like that. They're gonna ride it out, and then every year there's gonna be a mutated form of the virus that you need an updated vaccine for, booster for, and people are gonna take it every year, twice a year. You're gonna need 2 shots, 3 shots. They're just gonna keep giving these things out.
Birthday shot.
This is they've hit the jackpot, because the flu vaccine, nobody got it. Like, they were just like, yeah, it's flu. I ain't getting this crap.
It wasn't scary enough, even though it kills a lot of people.
Yeah, it kills a lot of people. Not anymore, by the way. We got rid of the flu.
Coronavirus is actually good for.
Coronavirus killed the flu.
It got rid of everything else.
So All right. Well, I'm upset about it, but here's my point. A lot of questions about to me as a pastor, like we need to submit to governing authorities. And I want to just say that at the close of this, the Bible says, "Submit to the governing authorities, for they watch over you." And according to what Paul writes, okay, that things will be peaceable, and pray for your leaders, and et cetera, et cetera. And I do that. I'll even pray for this man. He's not my governor, but I will pray for him. I'm praying for Joe Biden, even though he's not alive, and he's a walking zombie, barely can walk upstairs.
I'm gonna do another one on him.
There's eternal things I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed. And and then I'm praying for our governor, but I pray also that he's recalled. Newsom is a nightmare. And you remember that story? And this is just another example of corrupt governments, authorities. Remember in the second lockdown, right at the beginning, he's sitting down with a bunch of health officials.
Health officials. Yeah.
At the, what is it called? The French
French Laundry.
The French Laundry.
Something like
restaurant.
Yeah, $600 to $1,000 a plate there.
Yeah, no
masks.
No masks, no social distancing. They don't even believe in this stuff, and they're eating this. They're sitting down, enjoying themselves, and torturing people's lives with their political policies. And then after that, there was he also when he locked everything down, shut down all these businesses except his.
Yeah, he closed on all the wineries.
Yeah,
except for his.
Oh man. So I think that we need to pay attention to this, because I think first we should not be afraid, but submit to governing authorities. The Bible says. What should I do about that? I'm willing to play along. I'm willing to play along. If they want me to wear masks outside when I'm going to market or whatever, okay. If you want me to do outside outside dining, I'll do that. It's kind of nice.
It's kind of nice. Not that bad.
Yeah, Bina and I, we dined at a parking lot outside, inside, outside.
Yes.
And it's not good for these businesses.
But what European feel?
Yeah, what pisses me off about that though is these businesses are suffering from it. So. You should put in that video of that lady that's crying because and the hypocrisy of it all.
Yeah, the Hollywood one, right?
Yeah, where not Cuomo, Newsom has given this order and she can't open her business after she had paid all this money to create outside outside dining.
Yeah, she was doing everything by the book.
Yeah, and they said she can't open. And then what happens?
I remember right next door or right next to the empty lot that they can't open up. Hollywood sets up a lot of these sets or tents for their crew members to eat.
Catering.
Catering, food services, craft service. And it's exactly how she has it. They're allowed to operate, but she's not.
Dude, I felt those tears. And I just wanted to rip my shirt off.
There's so many restaurants that have closed too in Koreatown.
No, it really makes me mad. So, yeah, I'm willing to submit to governing authority. I'm willing to wear the dumb mask. And by the way, those of you that really believe in the masks, I respect it. Okay? But I'm not. I think they're talking about putting the mask on the kids when they go back to school, and I'm like, dude, this is crazy. We're gonna mask 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds in class, and we know that the science says that they're not really spreading this thing.
And you have to change it out frequently.
And this is science that's around globally said children are not really a factor in this, and it's not really harming them. So, okay, so all right. So how much should we submit to governing authorities? To what is their jurisdiction in life? I'll render to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. I'm gonna pay my taxes, even though California taxes is borderline communism. I'm just kidding. Commie California taxes, I'll pay them. Okay, John? I'll pay him. And I'll pay Commie Biden's taxes. I'll pay the gas tax. I'll I'll pay. I'm gonna submit. I'm gonna pay my taxes and have no money. Okay? I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do what's asked of me as a good citizen. All right? I'm willing to wear the mask outside or whatever. But one thing I will not submit to is when it impedes on God's command to me of my authority over my life and my family, my marriage and my family. And so if it there's a line that's crossed where God's authority is being superseded by governmental authority by the beast, then I do not submit. I will not submit to eventually what the mark of the beast is worship of government and worship of the world. I'm not going to submit to that, and I'm willing to submit to the consequences that come with that. So, what does that mean for me right now? Our faith is being mocked, and we're but when a strip club is open and the church has to close, and they're telling us not to sing, I will not submit. I will not submit. And pastors, listen, people have had people die in their church from coronavirus, and this is gonna happen everywhere. Doesn't matter if it's your church, the virus is going. And in good conscience, my thing is let these people decide what they want to do. If they want to risk their lives in church, let them do it. And if they're have no risk to them at all, they're like the 99.999 percentage bracket, dude, let them worship in church. Gather, open the church. If they're elderly in the church, dude, they should stay at home, right? Unless they're like, I'm gonna die anyway, I want to come to church, then leave them alone. As long as they know what they're doing, let these adults make adult decisions. My decision as a pastor is I'm opening my church and telling people to take the precautions they want to take. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you want to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. Whatever you want to do, whatever it is, just fulfill the commandments of God in the Bible, the one another commands, serving one another, loving one another. Fulfill those commandments because you can do nothing apart from that. As long as they could do that, this online thing is nice. But, dude, there's so much. This is not worship. And so if it's okay for people to not have online strip clubs, but they want to go to live strip club and the governing officials are saying it's essential, then church is essential to God. And open the church. And secondly, I'm not gonna make our people. I'm gonna sing in your minds, sing in your heart. Dude, sing to Jesus. Right now is the time to sing to God. It's a super spreader event, and it's like
It's only a super spreader when it's church, but not when Biden wins the presidency.
no, it's
And
not.
everybody can go out to the crowd.
So,
and throw
yeah,
champagne
can you please say that again? Say that again.
Oh, it's not a super spreader unless you're celebrating Biden and Harris's victory on the streets of New York City.
Yeah, and then twerking in the middle of the street and everyone screaming about it.
And they're like popping champagne and then like sharing the bottles. Did you see that video?
Yeah,
It was
please
wild.
put that in here. Please put that in here, dude. Oh man, that really. We're being had, dude. And they're like, it's a special event. It's okay. It's a special moment. And I was like, what? You guys are making the whole country suffer, and then this is okay. Like, what the hell is going on? It's driving me insane. Churches need to open, so I'm not gonna submit to that, okay? And I'm willing to face the consequences of that. I hope we're so small that nobody cares, and I'm hiding under the shadow of Johnny Mac and Grace Community, dude. That church is thousands of people, and they are just worshiping, and I don't agree with the man's theology in every aspect, but I respect the man's goal, and they've been meeting every week. Their church is exploding, by the way. Newcomers are coming, giving their life to Jesus. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm not going to submit to that. Second thing I'm not going to submit to is I'm not going to submit to the governing authorities in regards to my children. Like if they require, schools to where my kids to have masks all day, and eventually they require vaccines for my kids or whatever, dude, I'm not. I'm pulling them out. And we even our homeschool co-op right now, they're talking about stuff like this, and my wife and I have made a decision. Like we're probably not gonna go back then, and we'll probably just homeschool our kids and have a homeschool like network with other parents, and then people are like, "How are you gonna socialize your kids?" And I'm like on the weekends, like sports and like church stuff, and like they can hang out, have play dates. It's like, what's the big deal? It's like people are so weird. And people are like, homeschooling's so weird. I was like, dude, sending our kids to random strangers every day for like hours, that's weird. And allowing them to teach our kids whatever the hell that they're teaching. And you and I both went to public school, right? I remember middle school. I remember my friends having sex in the bathroom in middle school, dude. It's like, why is that normal? It's like, everyone listening to me right now, you know somebody like that. You were in middle school and they were like having like sex in the bathroom and like doing crazy stuff, doing drugs, and like it's like is that the socialization that you're trying to get your kids? Even child development there, like psychology and studies say that kids, what they need when they're teenagers is mentors, and they should not mentor each other. But that's what we're sending them to, like every day for hours and hours and hours with phones and like free access to everything. So we're getting them ready for adulthood. And it's like, not like that. You're getting them ready for failure. And so why is it weird to say, like, I want to raise my kids. I only get to do it once. And I want to homeschool my kids. It's like, I don't have the time. Dude, make time. They're your kids. They're your kids. Don't the Bible doesn't give us the authority as parents to defer the responsibility to the government or to somebody else. It's on us. God will judge us. And so they're not our playthings. So that's another thing I'm not going to submit to governing authorities. And dude, right now it is a concern what is happening to the north of us. It is a huge concern. And they are overreaching. And the government in Canada is overreaching into the lives of parents. And so parents need to watch out for that. This is coming. That's coming here to California. And it's coming. And I don't know what we're going to do about it. But I know that I'm not going to render my kids to Caesar. That's not what's going to happen. That's my responsibility. So I will not submit. And I'll submit to God. So those things needs to be parsed out in your mind as a people. As far regards to coronavirus, I'm not going to submit to governing authorities about how I worship God, and when and how our church is going to do that. Like, it's going to be up to the adults in our church, and then and several other areas, and it's going to get worse. Like, there are other things that we're going to have to make these decisions about. And, if you're sitting on your hands right now, sitting on your thumbs about this, your church is never going to open again. And people are waiting for things to go back to normal so that they could just go back and do whatever it was that they were doing before. And it's like, no, they're going to play this thing. Like, there's too much money in this for everybody. And it's here to stay. The vaccine is going to work for 6 months until a new one comes out. They're talking about this one in Europe right now. It's so dangerous.
It's swamping them.
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah, I forget which country, but Europe is getting swamped right now.
Yeah, and we're just doing enough to just make these things giving it time to mutate, and like, it is not going back to normal, people. You're gonna have to decide how you're gonna live this out, and pastors, you really need to decide what the Bible says about what church is. And open, dude. They need to open. Strip clubs are open. How are they social distancing? Are the strippers wearing masks? It'd be so crazy if they are.
They're wearing masks, but then they're picking up the dollars that they. I don't know.
Maybe they could only throw the dollars.
That's like a. I feel like this is an SNL skit.
No, I feel like I'm in like crazy. You know, there's this movie that says I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Like I feel like that every day. I'm like, this is crazy. We're living in the twilight zone. Because it's not like everyone can't see that the emperor has no clothes. Like the emperor is walking out naked and no one is saying anything. It's like Newsom is at French Laundry with his health officials that are telling us what to do about coronavirus, and none of them are doing it.
Yeah, all those governors and like
Whining and
mayors,
dining.
like telling people don't travel, and that guy from Austin was literally tweeted that before he boarded his flight.
Yes. What? Dr. Burks.
Yeah.
All of that. This is like at this point, it's like, dude, I think we're being played. You know what I'm saying? These people that are telling us this, they're not following any of it. But only we can. We could only hope. I'm telling you guys, you need to take an account and decide what to do. And yeah, I am not submitting that. And I will submit to the consequences that come with it. But I wish that I had lawyers like Johnny Mac, but I don't. So we're trying to go stealth here. But yeah, dude, that's all I got today. And people, last thing I want to say pastorally is this: don't live in fear. Don't live in fear. This is the time to really invest in yourself into the end of your life. And if you lose your life for His name's sake, you'll find it. And even in this Corona world that we're living in, nothing has changed. You are still going to pass away. There's 100 million ways you could die at any moment of the day. You drive around in the number one killer in the world daily in cars. You could die from staph infections. Don't Google that. Don't Google images of MRSA. Don't Google it, guys.
I'm gonna post it right into it.
And press image. You could die from E. coli. Dude, that kid from Bethel died of E. coli. From, I think, romaine lettuce. Freaking, like, my kids love Caesar salad.
I like Caesar salad too.
You know, there's so many things that could happen. We're not here for long. I'm not advocating that we be reckless about that. But you need to take an account of your life and really know that you're living for the right things. And Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Be serious about your faith in the gospel. And don't play with that. Have a deep understanding about it. But don't live in fear. Fear doesn't birth love. You could feel fear, but you shouldn't live in it. Allow it to dictate you. Anxiety, worry, paranoia. Like, we've made the whole world have obsessive compulsive disorder. And scrubbing their hands every goddamn minute. Like, damn it, I shouldn't have said that. Scrubbing your hands. Can you bleep it out?
Yeah, just say that again.
Yeah, scrubbing your hands. We all have OCD. We're like scrubbing our hands and like every second of the day. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And that's not gonna make you not die. And I'm not wishing anything that bad to happen to anybody, but they happen anyway. And so that's why we believed in Jesus anyway. We didn't believe in Jesus because He was going to keep us safe from the cross. That's not why we believe in Jesus. We believe in Jesus because He doesn't allow the cross to defeat us. He helps us to know how to carry it with purpose until resurrection. And so we're not afraid of those things. I don't want those things to happen. I don't want my grandma to die. But she is 90 years old. It was going to happen. Something was going to take her. But the Bible says that God knows. He doesn't allow a sparrow to fall to the ground without His knowledge of it. He called her home. So my dad got a second chance, like a fourth chance now. He freaking doesn't take care of his diabetes well. My dad keeps getting chances. I hope he does something with it this time. And my grandpa just got diagnosed with cancer, dude. Dude, he went to Korea. My grandfather went to Korea because everyone in the family got coronavirus. My grandma got coronavirus. My mother got coronavirus, and my dad and they all got coronavirus, and they had to stay behind, and they sent him ahead to keep him safe from coronavirus in South Korea, because South Korea did crazy lockdown stuff. But it's not gonna last long. It's gonna anyway. So my grandfather was there, and then he got diagnosed with terminal cancer as soon as he got there. Isn't that crazy? And my grandfather messaged us. He's like, "I have cancer. I'm gonna die," and he's like laughing. And I was just like, "Dude." And he's like, "It doesn't matter. I came here for because the coronavirus, to be safe from coronavirus, but God is gonna call me home. I want to be with my wife." And so I was just like, he was like, "Everyone be nice to each other." And he's like, "I'm gonna see if they can help me, see if I could fight the cancer or not. But hopefully, I just want you guys to love Jesus." That was what he said. So the point of this is this. The point of that is, like, if it's not corona, it's cancer. If it's not cancer, it's something else. It's gonna be something. And so know how you're going to face God. Decide how to do that right now. Stop waiting for things to go back to some kind of whatever the hell you thought normal was. I think everyone thought normal was a happy-go-lucky life where they don't die and tragedy doesn't happen. That never existed. Coronavirus has exposed that, but didn't create it. And I know I'm laughing and stuff. I'm not. By the way, like, as a pastor, I'm around suffering and death all the time. And so, like, I don't think it's funny, like it's a joke. I think, like, it's a part of life, and I have my way of dealing with it. People are not always the best thing that ever happens to me as a pastor is when people invite me to bless their babies when they're born, or officiate a marriage. Half the time it's good. Half the time it's a blessing. Other half I'm like, oh my God. But then the majority of other stuff. People are not calling me as a pastor. I'm following Jesus so amazing. Do you want to hear about it? No. It's usually, Pastor Sam, I'm struggling with this sin, and it's horrifying. Can I tell you? Can you help me with that? Okay, come on, let's talk about it. Pastor Sam, I'm depressed. Can I talk to you about my depression? Pastor Sam, I want to kill myself. Can I talk to you about that? Pastor Sam, I feel like I'm so anxious I can't leave my house. I heard that you could help people with that. Pastor Sam, there's somebody I know they have schizophrenia. I heard that you could help them. Can you help? This is what I get majority of the time. Oh, Pastor Sam, my person has cancer. Can you fast and pray? Help me. And then you go to the funerals, and this is what pastors do. That's like the 80%, right? So I'm not guys, I'm not insensitive. Like, this is a normal part of my life. This is how I get through things. I cry. Like, Pastor needs to cry more. It's like, dude, I can't cry all the time about these things. Like, I cry enough. Trust me. But I find a way to get through. But the main thing that you need is Jesus. If there isn't Jesus, I'd probably just not be a pastor. I'll just be depressed. I've been in a mental asylum, right? Just crack. So, this is the point of this. It's saying this is happening, and being in denial, wanting to go back to normal is not what you should be. Make Jesus your normal. And for those of you who are not a believer, and you don't know who Jesus is, and you're listening to the world opinion about who Jesus is, it's all a lie. Jesus is the best thing that will ever happen to you. Has the best thing is the best thing that has ever happened to this world. Will be that forever. Look into it. Stop listening to other people. If people have given you a bad example of what it means to be a Christian, don't judge it on them. Judge it for what it's worth, and find out who he is. He's alive, and he'll change your life. And all the people I just mentioned, Jesus, I've witnessed Jesus heal people of impossible mental illnesses, heal people of schizophrenia, anxiety. When they give their life to him, God helps them. Insomnia. Impossible diseases being healed, right? Can't have babies, impossible. And then there's a baby rolling around our church right now, yelling at everything. So Jesus is real, and his gospel is true, and it is the normal that you should live. So that's what I got to say. And get this man's face out of my face. May God have mercy on your soul. Not. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. That was a good episode.